What's going on, everybody? It's Afro Think Tank. Now, I'm going to say this is going to be one of the most important videos that I ever make in my life. And it's one of those videos you absolutely need to watch to the end. I am forced to be as tactful as humanly possible while making this video. And I need to talk for at least 2 minutes before you see anything in this video. You absolutely need to watch the end of this, all the way to the end of this video, because I've crafted it to tell a story and to say something that we all need to hear. Now, on the political spectrum, I know I'm a progressive. I know I bang against conservatives and white supremacy and my political opposition, but life is more complicated than just life is more complicated than just our domestic politics. And in life, there are times in which even people who are opposed to each other at certain points can come together and be on the same team for certain reasons. Okay. Like, for instance, if aliens were to come down and say, we want to destroy all mankind, I don't think it would matter whether you were a Democrat, Republican, Muslim, Islam, or anything. I think we will all come to an agreement that is humans versus the aliens. You understand? It's on that type of level. Even in jail, right? You have people who have to camp up, via race. But there's certain people who go to jail for committing certain types of crimes, to where the whites, the blacks, the Latinos, and even the correctional officers will all agree, even though they're all on different sides, and one is the law enforcement, will all agree in lockstep that a certain individual is greenlit, and they will all work to that end. Y'all understand what I'm saying? And this is one of those situations. And you know what? They like to say that certain things are conspiracies, but let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you a little story, right? Now, I became woke in the military. All right? Woke meaning I've been aware of my surroundings in the military. When I was in Afghanistan, and this is not an Arabic thing, this is something that happens in Afghanistan. They would have men will go around and they would have men with no beards. The men with no beards were the women, and the men with beards were the men. And then you had regular women. The women were treated so bad, they weren't even considered humans. And this is not the Taliban. This is just regular. These are the people we're supposed to be protecting and saving and all that. The regular society. They treated the women so bad. They were less than dogs, literally less than dogs. And the men, for sexual pleasure, would have their own boy with no beard. Boy, you understand what I'm saying? The men would have a boy. And as a Marine, we're looking at this, we're wondering, what is this? They would dress the boys up. And any veteran who've been to Afghanistan will back me up. Back me up in the comment section, guys. Back me up in the comment section with this one. They will put these boys on donkeys. They would dress the donkey up. They would put makeup on these boys, make them look like girls. And the men would use these boys as their sexual slaves. Okay, there were sexual boys. Boys. And we as Marines, and I know soldiers, we couldn't say shit about it. We saw it. We couldn't say shit about it. Right? And we knew what was going on. And this was countrywide. Boys were for pleasure. That's why you got to have a beard. Beard means you're a man. You ain't have no beard, you was for pleasure. Boys were for pleasure, okay? Women were just for reproduction and slaves. That's it. They were not for pleasure. Boys with no beards were for pleasure. Also, as a United States Marine who was there to fight the Taliban, I and my unit, we went on patrol with the Taliban, okay, to go fight other Taliban. We were in the compound of warlords, fighting side by side with the Taliban to go fight other Taliban. And as an 18-year-old who was told certain things and seen it with my own eyes, I realized that a lot of conspiracies are true. They try to make us seem like we're crazy. All right, I've been talking for 5 minutes. That should be long enough for the algorithm to algorithm. All right. Now I want y'all to watch this because I know for a fact this is happening. And what you're seeing is what you're seeing. And listen, I am on Tucker Carlson's side with this. I am on Charlie Kirk's side with this. And now I'm starting to believe Candace Owens and what she is saying. She may be, and I'm going to be as respectful as possible, she may be my opposition. The conservatives and the Republicans, the regular ones, the normal ones, may be my opposition. They may take money from super PACs to win their political goals. And you understand what I'm being super diplomatic about this, because there is one thing that I know that decent Republicans, decent conservatives, decent liberals and Democrats, we all, as human beings who believe ourselves to be good people, we all agree on. And there is certain shit that we both, all of us, we may not agree on anything. Okay? Even though for the most part we agree on, we all want the same thing, we just want to get there a different way, or we're all manipulated a different way to feel a certain way about each other. We're divide and conquer. But when it comes to this, I'm sure we all agree on this. And we all collectively, no matter what our political, racial, some people may be a little prejudiced, some people may be racist, but we can stop the racism for a minute. Because that's just tribalism via race. And we can all unite on this shit. All right? And it doesn't matter if the perpetrator is a Democrat or Republican, because I 100% guarantee you that this is much bigger than what we know, and that they're both, the Democrats and the Republicans, participate in this activity. And this is where our tax money is going. So we have a stake in this because we are paying for it. You understand? So without further ado, if you can't watch all this, you see how long the video is. If you can't watch all of this, pause it and wait so you can watch all of it. I had to be very tactical because this video is the kind of video that gets taken off. Remember, who's about to buy TikTok? Mr. J, is about to buy TikTok. They're about to buy CNN. Our media is about to be controlled by these people because they have all the money. Keep in mind, this is old money. Remember who financed the transatlantic slave trade? They still have that money. Mr. J, that was them, and that is true. So with all that being said, all right, there's a reason why the Epstein files didn't get released. There's a reason why they allow the government to shut down. There's a reason why they go to where we have a whole political party that's so compromised that they're willing to screw America for some reason, okay, that makes no sense to most majority of people, right, to not allow something like the Epstein files to be released. Okay, so without further ado, this Afro Think Tank, please tell me what you think in the comment section. All right, this is important. Afro Think Tank, learn something, teach something. I'm out.
A CBS News investigation has uncovered a loophole that allows accused and convicted American pedophiles to escape justice by moving to Israel. So Ian Lee has been following this for more than a year, and he traveled to Israel for this investigation. He worked with a group that tracks people accused of sex crimes, which estimates dozens of Americans have used this loophole.
Vegas police and FBI did a fantastic job of busting a cyber sex ring in Vegas. And it turns out a guy who was at the cyber conference in Vegas was one of the people they arrested, Tom Alexandrovich. And then they found out, oh my God, it turns out he's with the Israeli Cyber Directorate. He's actually a pivotal player there. He won the Israeli Defense Prize. He is one of the creators of Cyberdome for them. But he was looking to lure in and sexually assault American children while he was here in Vegas. But ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Great news, right? Nope. We returned him to Israel. Why? Why did we return him to Israel? That is a significant crime, serious crime. Is the special ally mean that they get to have pedophiles come here and we send them back? So we'll see if there's extradition, but I doubt it.
I would like to say this next segment is surprising, but it absolutely is not, especially when you look at all of the cases of Israel and their blackmail operations, Israel and their honeypot operations, Israeli citizens that are continuously arrested all across the world for their sex trafficking operations, for their assaults against minors. So when I talk about what has happened in Nevada, does it really surprise anyone? No. A senior Israeli cybersecurity official was arrested in Nevada in a sting operation targeting children predators. Now, the story doesn't really end there. Tom Alexandrovich, who was a top official at Israel's National Cyber Directorate, in August 25 was arrested during an undercover operation while allegedly attempting to meet a 15-year-old girl for sex. He was charged with the felony attempting to lure a minor for sex. He posted his $10,000 bail and returned to Israel just 2 days later. The U.S. State Department says no officials intervened, that he did not claim diplomatic immunity, and the release was handled according to Nevada law. However, it's completely ridiculous to say that the U.S. State Department had not intervened because the Israeli authorities were notified through their embassy, which is standard whenever a foreign national is detained abroad. Consular officials can provide legal guidance, but they cannot secure a release or bail. Now, this case has sparked political controversy in the U.S. Even MAGA supporters claim the official received special treatment, questioning why he was able to leave so quickly. Israeli officials initially denied the arrest, saying he was only questioned. He has since been placed on leave from his position, from what I'm reading, and the incident has drawn international attention, highlighting questions about accountability for foreign officials accused of serious crimes in the U.S. Now that brings me to the Jewish Community Watch, which tracks down accused pedophiles who have fled to Israel. The JCW reported that as of 2020, more than 60 such individuals have sought refuge in Israel, exploiting the law of return, which grants automatic citizenship to Jews and their families. Israel's handling of citizens accused of child sex crimes abroad has been a subject of significant concern and controversy, which is why his arrest and his immediate departure to Israel has rightfully caused outrage. So tell me what you think in the comments. Do you believe that child molesters and rapers and people who commit crimes against children and are sex trafficking people should be allowed to return to their countries of citizenship? I think absolutely hell the fuck no. Keep them in jail until trial. But tell me what you think in the comments.
The leader of a notorious child exploitation ring has been arrested. Recent developments have confirmed that a guy called Yoel Alter, a 35-year-old Israeli national and senior member of the ultra-Orthodox Jewish sect called Lev Tahur, was arrested in Guatemala on January the 24th, 2025. The arrest was executed by Interpol agents and Guatemalan police outside a government center for the treatment of minors in Guatemala City. What a creep. Alter is facing charges of child abuse and human trafficking and is expected to be extradited to Mexico, where he's wanted for these offences. The arrest follows a significant operation in December of 2024, where Guatemalan authorities rescued 160 children who had been abused in a Lev Tahur compound in southeastern Guatemala. The intervention was prompted by allegations of child abuse of children, forced marriages, and human trafficking. The rescued minors are currently undergoing government protection and investigations. Lev Tahur was founded in Israel in 1988. It's been the subject of multiple allegations over the years, including kidnapping, child marriage, and physical abuse. The group has relocated several times, establishing communities in countries like Mexico and Guatemala where they feel like they might get away with shit. In 2022, a police operation in Chiapas, Mexico, rescued a group of children and adolescents from a Lev Tahur camp, leading to an arrest on suspicion of involvement of abuse against minors. The recent arrest of Yoel Alter underscores an ongoing international effort to address the alleged human rights abuses associated with this group, Lev Tahur. Authorities in Guatemala and Mexico are collaborating to ensure that individuals involved in these activities are brought to justice and that the victims receive the necessary protection and support. I don't know how these people get together, pretend to be religious, and then abuse children.
Yeah, okay. I don't do it. If you do that, that's right. No, I go to his father. Sorry, this is the class. I want to search his father. If you do problem, hey, go away. Hey, go away.
You mentioned sexual violence. I was part of the human rights vetting process for arms going to Israel, and a charity called Defense of Children International Palestine drew our attention at the State Department to the sexual assault, actually the rape, of a 13-year-old boy that occurred in an Israeli prison in the Mossad in Jerusalem. We examined these allegations. We believed they were credible. We put them to the government of Israel. And you know what happened the next day? The IDF went into the DCIP offices and removed all their computers and declared them a terrorist entity. I think it is vital that atrocities not happen to anyone, not sexual violations, not any kind of gross violation of.
Sarah Wilkinson's posted a video an hour ago and Sister Community just shared it with me, and it's footage of Palestinian children being essayed in occupation custody. Literal video proof of what we've all been saying. Proof's come out before, but there's video right there of them raping children in front of the world with complete impunity. I actually don't have words. It's not enough that we're starving children, beheading them, burning them alive in tents. Now the world is going to watch as they are essayed with impunity. Like, this is normal, is it? To watch an occupying power sexually torture children, and the UN silent, and the ICJ silent, and the International Criminal Court, everyone's silent about it. All the white feminists, where are all the white feminists? Where are all the children, people who care about children? Children are being essayed in front of the world with impunity. I genuinely do not understand how anyone is breathing at this moment in time. Please contact the UN. Please contact your MP. Please contact anyone you can think of and bring attention to this. Because what words are left? We're watching children be starved to death and raped in front of the world and no one's saying anything. Humanity is dead. International law is dead. We've literally gone back to the law of the jungle. And the difference is even animals don't treat each other the way that the occupation are treating Palestinians. I don't even know what to say anymore. Sexually abusing children in front of the world and everyone's silent. Yous are all damned to hell and you all deserve it.
They're blowing off Palestinian boys' testicles. That's the Israeli soldiers' newest form of barbarism and torture. Doctors volunteering in Gaza say that they're treating teens with shredded or completely destroyed genitals after sniper fire and drone strikes. One soldier told Middle East Eye, "We keep getting 14 to 18-year-olds with pelvic cavities that look like landmine wounds." And the evidence shows that it's systematic. A March 2025 UN Commission of Inquiry found violence to the genitals is part of a wider pattern of sexual and gender-based crimes used by Israeli forces as methods of war. And the same report labels these acts as a form of reproductive genocide, destroying bodies so they can't have children. There's even medical testimony. In the British Medical Journal, Gaza clinicians documented cases of genital electrocution and blast injuries that leave nothing to reconstruct. They warn the pattern is unlike any battlefield trauma we've ever studied. And even outside of Gaza, children are tortured in detention. Beit Salam, the Israeli Human Rights Watch group, they released a report called Welcome to Hell, and it details prisoners whose genitals were shocked, beaten, or attacked with dogs in Israeli camps. This is a strategy to crush an entire people's future. Targeting reproductive organs is banned under the Geneva Conventions, and it's prosecutable as a war crime. So you know the drill by now. Share this, tag your reps, demand an arms embargo. Silence equals complicity.
Does someone want to explain what the hell is going on here? Why isn't this the top story of every single media outlet? Why isn't every single politician screaming from the rooftops about this? The executive director of Israel's National Cyber Directorate was arrested in Las Vegas in a child predator ring sting. He worked under Netanyahu, so he was allowed to go back to Israel without trial. The Israeli government lied and said he wasn't actually arrested. Then what the fuck is this? So this Israeli guy, who's one of the top officials under Netanyahu for national cybersecurity for the Israeli regime and AI for defense, is a child predator. American media is totally ignoring this. How much you want to bet Aaron Parnas is not going to cover this? Nevada's Internet Crime Against Children Task Force helmed an operation which resulted in the arrest of Alexandrovich and 7 other men in the city of Henderson, which is near Las Vegas. All the suspects believed they were meeting minors when the undercover officers instead confronted and arrested them. So Nevada officials actually did all the work to do this sting on this guy, on this Israeli cybersecurity official, Tom Alexandrovich, arrested him, charged him, he made bail, and then he fled the country to the Israeli regime. And then the Israeli regime said it was no big deal and lied and said that he wasn't charged. Why did the Trump administration allow this to happen? Where's Pam Bondi? I saw this meme last night before I even knew this story. But it's literally that. Pam Bondi's spending her time going after some random guy who threw a Sammy at a police officer. But you don't have anything to say about this? You don't have anything to say about this, Pam Bondi, Attorney General Pam Bondi. Where's the Trump administration? Where are you, MAGA? I thought you guys cared about this. No, not only are you not getting the Epstein list, they're actively, currently helping predators escape the country. Maybe you guys should ask them why that is and why no one's talking about it.
This bizarre story in Las Vegas where a big tech guy who apparently is the IT chief of Benjamin Netanyahu was caught in a police sting trying to have sex with children. And the others were all booked and given a court date, but the Israeli guy pleading in aid, his connections to the FBI and the NSA and the CIA, was allowed to walk predictably all the way back to the safe haven of Israel. What on earth is going on with that?
Well, I wish we could have dedicated the whole show to that, because it's such a wild scandal. It feels almost like Epstein 2.0. Tom Alexandrovich is a key figure in Israel's cyber intelligence directorate, which is maintained by the office of Benjamin Netanyahu. His name was unknown to the public until he was booked in Las Vegas. He had, according to the Jerusalem Post, received an award last year for participating in the assassination of Hezbollah Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah through some technological innovation. Wow. So he's an important Israeli cyber spy, and he got caught up in a sting, a federal multi-agency sting, in which an agent posed as a 15-year-old girl and asked him through a dating app called Pure to take him to take her to Cirque du Soleil and bring a condom, essentially saying, we're going to have sex and I'm underage. And he agreed, and they arrested him.
By now, everybody pretty much acknowledges that Jeffrey Epstein was working for the Mossad or with the Mossad. And if you don't know, the Mossad is basically Israel's version of the CIA. And if you watch the way Trump bends the knee, kisses the ass of Netanyahu, the support that he offers to the Israeli military's ongoing genocide in the Middle East, you have to ask yourself, what do they have on him? And when you look back at history, Donald Trump has a long, long history of friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. Of course, it wasn't real friendship because Jeffrey Epstein was using those relationships to entrap U.S. politicians so that they could blackmail them and get them to do Israel's bidding. Then when you realize that Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump have a long, storied relationship, one that dates back decades, parties, jets, all of the things that Jeffrey Epstein was doing, Donald Trump was front and center. So what does he have on Donald Trump? What does the Mossad have on Donald Trump? Why does he act so belittling to the lives, the humanity of the Palestinian people? Because the reality is everything else Donald Trump says about war, Ukraine, you look at how he talks about America first, is contradicted by the way he treats Israel's genocide against the Palestinians, the way he talks about Palestinians. It's inconsistent with everything else he says he stands for. So the only reasonable explanation is they've got dirt on him.
Okay, everybody, after a major event this last weekend where we talked about Epstein, I want to just kind of give you a little bit of an update because we've been covering other stories as well. Breaking today, President Donald Trump said, any credible information, let them have it. So here's a good place to start. There's an Office of Personnel report at the Department of Justice of a report where they interviewed Alexander Acosta, who was the U.S. attorney back in 2007 that prosecuted Jeffrey Epstein on a very, let's just say, suspicious case. He was not treated harshly. The original search warrant was selectively composed to try to protect Epstein. So the whole point of this Office of Personnel report goes to the underlying transcripts, and we can get access to that right now. Well, not we, but the Attorney General of the United States can get access to that. President Donald Trump has greenlit this. He said, any credible information, Pam Bondi, you can release it. And so I know Pam. I think Pam should do this. I think Pam should walk down the hall to the Office of Personnel Report, OPR, and get this report. In it is a ton of information. Secondly, I think the Department of Justice should move to unseal the grand jury testimony in the Ghislaine Maxwell case. Number three, I think that Ghislaine Maxwell should be given green light. Go talk. Let people ask questions. Figure out what the heck is going on. Was Jeffrey Epstein an intelligence asset? Now, the Israeli government has come out and said, nope, he was not one of ours, under no means necessary. And so, was he Saudi? Was he MI6? Was he CIA? We do not know. And our audience is really fired up about the story. We've been covering it extensively. Yesterday, we were covering a lot of other stories as well, but today we had Mike Bentz on. We had a couple reporters on. This is some breaking news. President Trump today had said, any credible information, let them have it. A good place to start is unsealing the Department of Justice grand jury testimony, the Office of Personnel report. In there, we're going to find out all the information of the intel aspects of this. So we're very much on this. Keep the pressure on. And I really want to get to the bottom of this because transparency is critical. Transparency is key. Thank you.
I'm going to challenge Turning Point USA executives to issue a very clean statement saying that I am lying if this is not true. About 48 hours before Charlie Kirk died, Charlie informed people at Turning Point, as well as Jewish donors and a rabbi, that he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause outright, okay? Charlie was done. He said it explicitly, that he refused to be bullied anymore by the Jewish donors. Can you guys answer? Did he express that? Did he also express that he wanted to bring me, Candace Owens, back because he was standing up for himself? And then did he, just 48 hours later, conveniently catch a bullet to the throat before our onstage reunion could happen? It's a yes or a no. explicitly, I want to hear from Turning Point USA that I'm lying about that. I want you to say, no, it was just, he was feeling a little bit of pressure. No, I want you to literally answer what I have just said. It either happened or it didn't. I'm either making it all up or it happened exactly as I'm saying. And while we're at it, may I ask, what is the name of the Jewish donor who sponsored the Hamptons weekend? Okay. And to Pastor Rob McCoy, were there any LLCs that you or your son were being paid through that sat outside of Turning Point? I'm asking that question genuinely. Yeah, I'm putting the fire here right at the feet of Turning Point because I am disgusted. I am genuinely disgusted. I am looking around and wondering whether Charlie's entire life was the Truman Show. None of you guys are behaving in the way that you should be behaving, okay? There is no way you are letting these lies fly unless, as I am hearing, unless it is true that there was a big payday that was on the line. And if Charlie radically stated that he was done with Israel, if Charlie said he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause because of, and I quote, Jewish donors, the behavior of Jewish donors, if he said that, yes or no, well then, I don't know, maybe some people didn't want to take that risk that he was going to become Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson at Turning Point USA with so much presence across college campuses. Maybe they didn't want to take the chance. You see, I'm just one person, so it's easy to just try to cancel my life and lie on me every second of every day. But Turning Point USA, I think, got a little bit bigger than Charlie, and I'm no longer going to allow this lie in this narrative. So answer the questions, yes or no. And I'm going to, again, challenge you to lie. And if you do lie, I'm going to expose the lies, and I'm going to start dropping videos, actually. So that's where I'm at. Enough of the games, enough with trying to allow Israel to wrangle a narrative that you know is not true.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.